How does experience help us understand what life is? Life exists. Few would refute that statement. However, is life physical existence? There appears to be no end to knowledge. Many times in history, we had the sense we had learned everything. The grass was green and cows ate the grass. And that was the end of it. Then we learned plant cells were green and chloroplasts photosynthesized within cells, and that was the end of it. Then we learned chlorophyll was the green and the molecules in the chlorophyll absorbed light waves. Then we learned electrons jumped from orbit to orbit, and photons of electromagnetic waves were absorbed or produced in the chlorophyll. Each time we were at an end, a new beginning emerged. Then there appears to be no end to our potential to learn. Is gaining knowledge about what life is, or rather, is gaining knowledge just one of many means by which we gain experience? Is life then what one has experienced, one's awareness? And if this is true, is this not just a small piece of total awareness? Again and again, we come back to panentheism. We being part of, being within the total, being a piece or an emanation of the summation. Again and again, we come back to the idea of something being greater than the universe, and we are a part of it located within a universe immersed in this abstract form, or what religion calls God, or a first cause or causative force as posited by others. Over and over again, reason appears to lead us to the concept of the concrete not being what life is, but rather life is experiences accumulated through the concrete. Over and over again, reason appears to tell us that awareness of experience is the essence of the individual. Without awareness, no amount of interaction with our body would seem to have meaning. Without awareness, any interaction with our body would simply be interaction with a body without awareness. Life appears to be the interaction of the abstract with the concrete. If one assumes awareness begins as a blank slate, one must assume awareness has a beginning and there is a time when one's first experience takes place. If awareness, the abstract, is the ability to experience the concrete, wouldn't it come from something other than the concrete and eventually go somewhere other than into the concrete? This is just what panentheism says. Life is awareness, and it exists before life, during life, and after life. What does reason have to offer us as individuals? Reason, philosophical thought, could start from axioms, experience. All we can reach is probability, not truth. The first axiom, you exist. This may or may not be true. As strange as this may sound, it does not matter which answer is correct. There are only two possibilities we can conceive of at this point. One, you do not exist, or two, you do exist. Opinion 1. You do not exist. If you do not exist physically, then you are an abstraction. Being an abstraction does not make your existence any less valid. If the universe can be broken down to true nothingness, see symmetry, and if you existed, then you would be a form of abstraction, but you would still exist. Existence is existence. Therefore, if you did not exist physically, you would have to step back further than saying you do not exist physically. You would have to step further back and say your awareness does not exist. But if your awareness does not exist, you would not be in this discussion, for you would have no awareness of it. Descartes was referring to this when he said, quote, I think, therefore I am, unquote. It was the abstract form of existence he was implying exists. Descartes was implying this abstraction of awareness would still exist even if the physical universe is found to be nothing but a form of illusion. There is no reasonable way to think of yourself as you if, after peeling away the physical aspect of yourself, you find no abstract form of yourself. Without your abstract awareness existing, nothing has meaning to you. Without your existing to you, everything is an illusion. And according to some, such as in some Hindu philosophical traditions, that illusion has a name and they named it Maya. Perhaps a more accurate way of saying this is that you are an illusion to everything if you do not exist. Opinion 2. You exist. If you exist, you have awareness. If you exist physically but have no awareness, you do not exist to you. If you exist and have no awareness of your existence, you are simply a part of someone else's existence. For you, it is your awareness that gives your existence validity. This all leads to the first axiom. You exist. The first axiom is not that a causative force exists, it is that you exist. Without you, a causative force has no significance to you, for you would not exist. What significance does experience have to offer us as a species? If your awareness dies, you no longer exist. Your awareness has thus been destroyed. This process would be the beginning of the death of total awareness. No longer existing for you removes all significance of your life. Your existing, being the first axiom, does not diminish the significance of others. To others, the first axiom is the same as yours. They each individually exist. Existing individually does not eliminate the possibility of others existing. It simply allows for the second axiom. Others exist. If you do not exist, the axiom is false. Others cannot exist for you without your existing. Thus, the axiom, others exist, must be the second axiom after the axiom, you exist. It could be true that if you exist, others could be figments of your imagination. But whichever the case, others actually existing or others being concepts you developed in your own imagination, they still exist. If others are ideas your mind created, they may not exist to themselves, but they still exist to you. The second axiom is, others exist. The axioms are based upon both reason and experience. The order is based upon both reason and experience. The two axioms are not of equal significance. One follows the other, and the order is sequential, not random. Without your existence as the base, the existence of others has no significance for you. If you have awareness, are capable of sensing either consciously or subconsciously, as if what gives you awareness exists in others, then total awareness can be no less than the sum of everyone's awareness. As a species, this summation would not only be the sum of the 5 billion pieces plus of awareness existing today, but the billions upon billions that existed before. This concept would imply awareness may be capable of transcending time. For if it cannot, then the billions upon billions of pieces of awareness that existed in the past would either no longer exist or would no longer exist once the universe died out, as in the case of entropy. If these past pieces of awareness did or do die, this would imply they no longer or will no longer exist. The death of your awareness is no longer insignificant, for if your awareness dies, so too may the awareness of billions of pieces or emanations of awareness located upon this one tiny planet. Multiply this by trillions upon trillions of other planets, and you have huge chunks of awareness dying. Eventually, the statement, the causative force is dead, or God is dead, as coined by Nietzsche, could become a reality. Reason and experience lead us to rejecting this scenario. What significance do reason and experience have to offer other life forms in the universe? A unified view is built upon axioms. The first axioms are crucial. They not only provide the foundation for the model, they influence its final outcome or appearance. Reason tells us the first axiom should be, you exist. Without this, the causative force, the universe, and other life forms have no significance to you. If you are not independent of the causative force, you do not exist. Rather, you are an extension of the causative force. But the model of symbiotic panentheism says you're a part of the causative force, yet you have your own individual soul awareness. Isn't this contradictory? No, it only appears to be. Because the model says that while you may be a part of the causative force, you are independent of the causative force while in the state of traveling through, experiencing this reality. A free agency, free will. Without this independence, free will, isolation, severance, and amnesia from the causative force, or total awareness, you would not be you. Without isolation from the causative force, total awareness, you would be aware of, privy to, some form of omniscience, omnipresence, and omnipotence. In short, you would never be able to be you. You would be a reflection of something else. This has great significance to you. It has great significance to other Homo sapiens, but just as importantly, it has great significance to all life forms throughout the heavens. Our universe, and all universes, this idea of adding to the total sum of awareness, growing total awareness by independent bits and pieces, is what gives all life forms the right to claim equal status, equal treatment, equal significance, equality. Often it is a great concept, but nonetheless humanity tends to fall short, unfortunately. As such, the Golden Rule becomes a statement of philosophy, not necessarily religion, although not excluding religions. The model of symbiotic panentheism is exemplified by the statement, "Do unto others as you would have others do unto you." But this need not be the model. We can decide to consciously develop a model embracing the concept of do unto others before they can do unto you. This model, like symbiotic panentheism, is easy to build. It also would act as a guide for general behavior. This alternative model would be based upon two concepts. God, a causative force, transcends the universe, and Homo sapiens are created to glorify the causative force, or God, being image bearers. Under such a model, we would have a responsibility to coerce all awareness to do likewise. In essence, we would be perpetuating our past actions, for these are the two concepts underlying society today. What does reason and experience imply about our significance in eternity? Perhaps all life has the same purpose, and awareness is the means of preserving it eternally. It is possible to set up axioms that are native to reason and are truly independent of experience. Without experience, you have no awareness of your own. You could still exist and you could still have awareness, but this existence or awareness would be premised upon the experience and awareness of some source other than your own. As such, it would not be your awareness of experience. In short, you would not exist as yourself, rather you would exist as someone else. Philosophy tries to categorize reasoning regarding the physical separately from experience or the abstract. This is nothing wrong with this approach. What becomes a problem is when these areas of philosophy see themselves as independent of each other. One cannot exist without the other. They are an integral part of each other. Therefore, to understand the picture that exists, one must piece the pieces of the puzzle together and merge the two into a unified view. That is what brings the pieces into better focus. The more integration that takes place, the more detail that is added to the picture, the more detail one obtains the total picture, the better one understands. Understands what? Understand what life is, why life exists, why we, you and I, exist. With understanding comes behavioral changes. Without understanding, behavioral changes or changes in general become stagnant. But can we ever truly understand? It doesn't matter, because if we truly understood, we wouldn't know this to be truth anyway. Therefore, we may as well attempt to understand as best we can. We may as well develop an understanding that we are proud of having created. We may as well develop a model capable of sustaining the rigorous tests of the physical universe and a hypothetical abstract eternity. Philosophy may find itself to be more productive if it would begin a practical development of a unified view. To do this, it would need to place the less practical matter of understanding the causative force, or the abstract, or God, into a separate category from the building of a unified view or universal philosophy. The mystery of understanding the creator of the causative force has been sidetracking philosophy for too long. The only way to get philosophy back on track in building a unified view is to place this theoretical concept of a creator of the creator into its own category, if only as a concept. If God created the universe, what created God? Some people ask. What does reason and experience imply about our relationship to the causative force? Without you, nothing exists for you. Without you, everything reduces to zero. Zero may still exist, but it has no significance for you. Science to the right of me, religion to the left. The concrete to the right of me, abstract to the left. Reason to the right of me, experience to the left. However you wish to express the concept, essentially, you are saying the same thing. You are basically saying you exist, you have awareness, and all else is derived from using your awareness as the reference point. Without you, there is no awareness of which you are aware. Without you, nothing exists as far as you are concerned. In mathematics, a unit is measured by the number 1. There are many number 1s. Using a number line, we can see there are 2 number 1s. The positive number 1 to the right of 0 and the negative or -1 number 1 to the left of 0. There are also 2 numbers 2s, etc. Graphing on an x, y axis, you will find 4 number 1s, a positive number 1 on the x-axis and a positive number 1 on the y-axis. Then there are the 2 mirror images, a negative number 1 on the x-axis and a negative number 1 on the y-axis. In 3-dimensional space, there are a total of 6 number 1s on the x, y, and z axis. You can then move from 3 dimensions to 4 dimensions, x, y, z, and t for time. The only number that has total uniqueness is 0, but, or be it coincidence or significance, the number 0 is called the origin. But we're not talking about the origin here. We are talking about you. You are a number 1, for without you, nothing exists for you. From this point of number 1, we have the concrete on your right and the abstract on your left. All things are measured, all things move outward from, all significance, all concepts, all reason, all experience for you orients outward from you. Without you, everything loses meaning. For things can only have meaning to you if you exist. All relationships begin with you. The relationship between yourself and God, or the causative force, has to begin with you. With your awareness, for without you, there can be no relationship between you and the causative force. Perhaps the purpose of life is to provide total awareness, a new and unique awareness of experiences. Your unique awareness of experiences could potentially grow what normally couldn't grow without you. So in that sense, you need God, and God or the causative force needs you. Otherwise, it wouldn't be. Conclusion. How do the concepts of reason and experience reinforce the concept of symbiotic panentheism? They do not. What is actually taking place is symbiotic panentheism is reinforcing the concept of the significance of reason and experience. There is only one number 0. The number 0 is the sum of all the positive and negative numbers. In a sense, you are one of these numbers. You are not 0, but being one of many is nothing to be disappointed about. The elimination of any number from the set of all numbers makes the set incomplete. If the number 8 is removed from the set of numbers, a huge number of addition problems becomes impossible. Multiplication, division, subtraction, exponential operations, absolute values, summation, statistics, geometry, physics, astronomy, biology, chemistry, government, society, religion, philosophy, all collapse when the number 8 disappears. So, remove the foundation and the whole collapses. That is the premise. The number 8 is so important, if it were rejected from the set of numbers, all of reality would change. The causative force herself, the origin, would be something different than what she is today. You may wish to be the number 0, you may wish to be the origin, but this makes no sense. You did not, in your present state of existence, create the entire universe or other universes. Without you, things may be different. Without you, God may be different, but they would still exist. So does unbelief negate the concept of God and the causative force? By no means. Without you, you would not know existence existed, but it would exist nonetheless. Because of this, it is not reasonable to think your experience is all there is. Surely, the total experience and total awareness is skipped or reduced within your awareness. Without you, you would not know existence existed, but it would exist nonetheless. On the other hand, without all the pieces, without all the numbers, it is apparent that the number 0 would have much less significance, much less potential for expression. Without all the other numbers, 0 would be just that, 0, nothing, no thing, zilch, no awareness whatsoever. 0 would disappear. God would no longer exist. God would truly be dead. The causative force would be absolutely nothing. You're important to God, the causative force, which symbiotic panentheism verifies. You exist, others exist. The summation of the elements, pieces, makes up the total. The total exists separate from, but at the same time as, a summation of its parts. The third axiom emerges. Totality of awareness exists, a causative force exists, you exist, others exist, a causative force exists. All three are dependent upon the interaction of the others. Symbiotic panentheism emerges. And I would add, there is record of The experience of having totality of awareness, or a sort of merging with the divine, or becoming one with the universe. In many religious traditions, it is named and experienced by those who have claimed to have awakened to this existence of having experienced the all. It's known as cosmic consciousness, or Christ consciousness, or Buddha nature, depending on which tradition you would hold to when describing such abstract things. And symbiotic panentheism emerges in the midst of this, as well as the concept of a unified view of philosophy, science, spiritualities, and religions.